Morning, Elon Musk and the Pentagon make a deal. The billionaire's AI company has won a $200 million contract that will let the government use Musk's AI chatbot Grok. It's notable because just last week, Grok posted an anti-Semitic rant praising Adolf Hitler, believe it or not, praising Adolf Hitler. He even suggested a Holocaust-like response to hatred against white people would be effective. Joining us now, Congressman Steve Cohen. He's a Democrat from Tennessee. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. I know you wrote a letter to Musk demanding an explanation for how Grok, his AI engine, made these totally anti-Semitic posts. Have you heard back?
We haven't heard back, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't, because his Colossus computer is in Memphis, in my district. It's quite a bit of controversy about whether it emits pollutants that hurt the people's health in that area, and that's something we have to be concerned about. But Musk's public response is that this was simply his making it less woke, and he put some information into the computer to make it less woke. It not only made it less woke, it made it disgusting and shameful, and really it was pro-Nazi. And it was shocking that he'd done such a thing. He put in this 4chan, which has got a lot of right-wing and anti-Semitic type material, and that puts out a bad result. And it lets us know that these computers are not geniuses. They are as good as the person who puts the material in. And in Musk's case, it's a guy who gave a Heil Hitler salute one day when he got overly excited at a rally, and went into his full tilt Nazi wave. So we've got to be concerned about the future of what information we accept as being true and just an independent. It's all goes back to the source, and the source in this case is somebody who's real suspect, and was pretty much thrown out of the Trump administration.
Right, and just to follow up with you on that, because you're raising concerns about Grok and what it put out about the Holocaust. Now it's been the company that owns Grok has been awarded this $200 million contract to help with national security. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a different issue, but at the same time, it does concern you with their objectivity and the data that they put in. And Grok will have information in there that may not be what's necessarily right down the line, but what Musk wants it to be to influence national security. And I don't think that Musk should be involved in determining what materials are used to analyze national security considerations. I'm on Intelligence Committee now. That's a very, very important aspect of American government's protection of the homeland and of our citizenry. And we're a threat on many, many fronts. And to have Musk be a person who determines when we're a threat and why and how is questionable. And it shows with what he put into the computer concerning 4chan, he'll put in things there that could be also affect our defense capabilities.
So then what do you think overall of the government embracing artificial intelligence?
Well, I'm concerned about it because I think that we're going to put too much emphasis on it, and human intelligence is really the best you can have. And of course, with the Intelligence Committee, we think different than human intelligence. But human intelligence in that respect and in just cerebral is the most important function and source that we have for protecting us and for having information. And we shouldn't go too much into AI because it goes back into who feeds the beast. And the amount of energy that it consumes and the water it takes, the energy it takes, it's astronomical. And this, I feel, will have an effect on humans in the future in having energy necessary to heat their homes, to air condition their homes, and just to provide the daily activities that they want to have from having electricity available. These computers and data centers just they always will need more and more, and they're going to want to get bigger and bigger, and they're going to take a bigger share of our energy sources, and that's at the expense of our citizenry and at the cost, because I think they're getting good deals, and they're not being taxed on all the money in Memphis. They're not being taxed on $12 billion, which is the value of their assets, but $2 billion. And the citizens will pay higher in residential fees and will end up subsidizing Elon Musk. I don't want to subsidize him in any way whatsoever. What he did with Doge hurt the United States government, hurt the United States public in taking away the safety net and it just recklessly going out with his sledgehammer and destroying the fundamentals that people like Franklin Roosevelt and Jimmy Carter and Hubert Humphrey have built up over the years, even Richard Nixon on EPA, and what they've done to the Department of Education and killing it. This is going to hurt children. It's going to hurt our future as America, keeping up with the Chinese and being competitive in energy sources when we're not competing on alternative forms of energy and giving that over to the Chinese.
And just to follow up really quickly, Congressman, on the Grok and the anti-Semitic content that I was putting out, which is certainly very disturbing. Elon Musk, for his part, on what you had talked about with the salute that was controversial, he did deny that. He said that it was a dirty trick, the allegation that it was a Nazi salute, and that everyone is Hitler attack is so tiresome. I just want to make sure that we put that out there in response.
Well, it's good that he denies it or tries to get away from it. No good human being with any kind of morality and sense of justice would want to say that that's what they were doing, and they'd find a way to try to deny it. But I've looked at it time and time again, and it's clearly something you've seen in the 1930s in Berlin, right before Jesse Owens ran.
Did you want to weigh in?
No, I'm just happy that Steve Cohen is back in the Situation Room. We'll continue these conversations, Congressman, down the road. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
And right now, we want to take a